You remember McAfee Security? He was down in one of them banana republics there for a while. And he was wanted for murder. Got locked up, I believe. What do you think? He could have gave somebody some sort of a code that would allow them to do things. Since he had a internet security company, who knew the ins and outs? Don't you think he could hack into something?
Behind me, the Riverdale Road exit. This is where everything basically came to a head around 9:30 last night. College Park police say that everything really began in the eastbound lanes here along I-285. Again, we're just south of the airport. Police say the suspect's BMW rammed into the back of the victim's vehicle. Let's show you some video. The white Ford truck you're about to see in the video, that again is the victim's vehicle. Now, the driver of that Ford was shot several times, police say. He lost control and slammed into other vehicles on the ramp and sadly died at the scene. Police say a passenger in the same vehicle was taken to the hospital where he died. And listen to why police are suspecting road rage here.
It happened on the highway, and the bullet holes on the passenger side of the vehicle. No other witnesses, no other vehicles involved.
And not given any information on the motive there, and they don't have any suspects at this time. Right now, the Red Cross is helping 10 families who lost their homes in an apartment fire in Jonesboro. This happened overnight at the Anthos at Pinewood Manor. That's on Terra Boulevard. One building was destroyed and 2 others lost power. And Hall County fire marshals are looking into a commercial fire that broke out at the Holiday Marina on Lake Lanier yesterday. You see the scene there. A viewer sent us this video as that fire was fully in action. Officials say 4 boats and 2 personal watercrafts were damaged. The video shows the fire before the crews put it out, and now you see the result. We're told 1 person was checked out on the scene but didn't go to the hospital. Officials say fire crews are putting out hot spots, but the bulk of the fire is currently out. And new video of the search for a missing swimmer continues into day 2 on the Chattahoochee River. Cobb County and Roswell Fire say they have now transitioned this mission to a recovery effort. Officials say the 17-year-old was with 9 other people. They were all trying to swim across the river near Azalea Park yesterday. 8 people made it across. Another person was rescued, but the 17-year-old didn't make it. Roswell Fire tells us the water on the Chattahoochee is higher and the current is pretty strong.
Simply trying to protect her cubs. All right, let's send you over to Genevieve.
Beef plants in the United States, located across 8 states. They account for about 1/4 of all beef in the United States.
The White House says Russia is likely behind this latest ransomware attack.
The White House is engaging directly with the Russian government on this matter and delivering the message that responsible states do not harbor ransomware criminals.
This comes on the heels of last month's cyber attack on Alpharetta-based Colonial Pipeline, which led to fuel shortages and panic buying up and down the East Coast. Colonial reportedly paid millions of dollars to attackers to continue operations. Now cybersecurity experts are urging companies to set up protocols and procedures.
We've got to have a better job of rapidly detecting and hunting in our own environments so that we can catch our own bad actors quickly.
So what impact will this cyber attack have on your meat prices at your local grocery store? Right now, experts say it's not clear how much of a spike we're going to see, as prices have already been rising due to the coronavirus shutdowns. But the Department of Agriculture estimates beef prices could increase up to 2% this year.
A lot of clouds across.
From office.
The law is very specific on that it's a 2-pronged test. That number one, it has to impact their ability to do their job. And the second thing is whether it impacts the public, essentially. And those 2 things have to be found for the commission to recommend the suspension to the governor.
Deputy Attorney General John Fowler says Georgia law is crystal clear on how a review commission should decide whether the governor should suspend an elected official. In an executive order made May 19th, Governor Brian Kemp appointed Burke County Sheriff Alfonso Williams and Cherokee County Sheriff Frank Reynolds, along with Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr, to review the indictment of Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill. In April, a federal grand jury indicted Hill on charges that he violated detainees' civil rights while they were held in the Clayton County Jail.
The indictment alleges specifically that without justification, Hill ordered his employees to strap the detainees into a restraint chair and keep them there for hours in violation of their constitutional rights.
But Sheriff Hill's attorney, Drew Findling, says the restraint chairs were used lawfully.
There was no injury in any of these instances. You do not see an indictment that shows any systemic type of injuries like take place in other parts of the United States.
But after reviewing the indictment, the commission recommended Governor Kemp suspend Hill from office, saying in their report, this indictment places a cloud over the credibility of the decision-making of Sheriff Hill. The commission also argued Hill's alleged behavior affects citizens outside of Clayton County, after prosecutors say he dispatched an armed fugitive squad into another county to take a man into custody with whom he had a personal dispute. Now, this suspension will last until the conclusion of that federal case or the end of Sheriff Hill's term, whichever comes first. Remember, he was just reelected in 2020 to another term. Now, I reached out to Mr. Hill's attorney for a comment on the suspension, and so far he has not gotten back to me. If you would like to read the Review Commission's full report, you can find that on our website, fox5atlanta.com.
The Department of Health and Human Services emergency intake sites. The group talked about the tour briefly before moving into other topics like Title 42, which the congressmen and women here today say should not be rescinded. Representative Tony Gonzalez also addressing children being left behind by human smugglers. This comes after he was asked about this video. Take a listen. A 5-year-old boy holding a teddy bear crying at the El Paso border wall. This is one of many examples of children being left by smugglers at or near the border. Representative Gonzalez says this happens far too often.
Humanitarian crisis, however you want to look at it, and it's unfair to everybody, including that 5-year-old boy that's coming across. And this story is not unique. We have over 20,000 unaccompanied children that have a very similar story. We can't forget these children, regardless of their legal status. We can't lose sight of them.
Senator Kristen Sinema
here in Tulsa. It is targeted to Tulsa. It is related to the massacre that happened in Tulsa.
President Biden visited Tulsa yesterday to observe the somber anniversary of the massacre and visit with those 3 survivors.
Stand by. She's got the AK and the shotgun. She's wrapping around the top of her neck.
Next at 11, a tense standoff between deputies in Florida and 2 armed suspects who were just 12 and 14 years old.
Wow, Ben, wait until you hear what Derek Chauvin's attorneys have asked for their client. Stay with us.
Being questioned by authorities.
Newly released surveillance video shows the moments before San Jose, California. The man you see walking around there is Demetrius Stanley. Undercover officers were watching his house Monday night in an armed robbery investigation. Stanley reportedly came outside with a gun, walked up to the vehicle where the officer was sitting, and pointed the weapon at the cop. But the officer fired first, killing Stanley. That officer is now on administrative leave. Prosecutors say they will seek a 30-year sentence for Derek Chauvin. He's the former Minneapolis police officer convicted in the murder of George Floyd. According to court documents, a defense attorney has asked Chauvin to be sentenced to probation and time already served. The defense attorney cited Chauvin's age, lack of a criminal record, and support from family and friends for the request. The judge is scheduled to sentence Chauvin this month on June 25th, following his April conviction on state charges of murder and manslaughter.
Coming up next here at 11,
as their house was consumed by flames. Hear more from him just ahead.
Wide and more than 60 feet deep. Officials worry about it taking down a nearby house. They've already evacuated the family who lives there. Nobody's been injured, but authorities have asked people to stay away from the area. Investigators have conducted soil studies to determine the cause. Top Canadian officials had called for an apology from Pope Francis tonight.
It's in reaction to a shocking discovery. Last month, remains of 215 children were discovered at what was once Canada's largest residential school for Indigenous students.
The Catholic Church operated the school between 1890 and 1968. The Canadian government took over and ran it as a day school for another 10 years.
During that time, more than 150,000 Indigenous children were taken from their parents and forced to attend government-funded schools. They were not allowed to speak their native languages or practice their culture in an effort to assimilate them into Canadian society. Some were neglected and abused, and thousands are believed to have died at those schools. Canada's government apologized in 2008 and has paid billions in compensation to survivors, but the Roman Catholic Church has not. The recently discovered remains have not been excavated, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he supports efforts to find more unmarked graves at former residential school sites.
1001 Ponce Leon Avenue. It's been laying here a good 2 weeks, and it's on private property. Now hit Publix, blocking everything up. Get your junk.
And at our small businesses, the new America, where congressional Democrats want to defund the police and Biden wants to add thousands of IRS agents.
Meg Thee Stallion, 24K Golden, and Youngblood. This is a packed lineup. It's going to be a good time. So if you bought tickets for Music Midtown 2020, you can use it to attend this year's festival. It's happening on September 18th and 19th. But if you can't make it this time around, you have the opportunity to resell your tickets. And you can find more on how to do that and see the rest of the lineup on 11alive.com. 4 major festivals are returning to Decatur this fall, all in one weekend. That's going to be fun. Festival Weekend 2021 will run October 1st through 3rd. The AJC Decatur Book Festival, Decatur Arts Festival, Amplify Decatur Music Festival, and the Decatur Craft Beer Festival will all take place that weekend. The 4 festivals are working closely with the City of Decatur officials to create a safe environment for attendees. The Decatur Wine Festival will keep tradition and be held in November. Live
Pandemic. It's now happening September 5th and 6th. More than 15 artists and musicians will perform on 2 stages. The Jazz Festival is free and open to the public, but keep in mind the city may still have some restrictions in place.